Once again, welcome to our online training program. And today, in the continuation of our series on public speaking, we are going on the third part of our module on the structures of a speech. Today, I am going to focus my attention on the body of your speech. I am very sure you have watched our video on the introduction of our speech, or introduction of any speech at all. And now I'm not going to talk about the body of a speech. Do not forget that any speech must have introduction, the body, and the conclusion. I am not going to speak about what you are supposed to do with the body of your speech. In fact, the body of any speech is where you have the opportunity to tell your audience your story. What are those things you enumerated in the introduction of your speech? This is where you have the opportunity to tell them what you told them before. In the body of the speech, you give them the first main point. I am going to speak about this. As soon as you say that, the next best thing to say or do is to find a story to buttress what you're saying. Good speakers are most often good storytellers, because stories are used to give vivid and concrete examples of what we are saying. Even from our childhood, the time we were very, very young, our parents always tell us stories. And so majority of the people like storytelling, and they have a natural connection with stories. So that is why in public speaking, using stories as a means of giving an example is very, very, very essential, because of the natural inclinations human beings have with stories. You can give examples, concrete examples of objects or subjects or something they know, or something that has happened to you. Because if you give example or use a story to give example, it is always very, very concrete. If you give the first main point and you didn't give any story, you didn't give them any examples, they would find it difficult to follow exactly what you're saying. They wouldn't understand it very well. And that is why you need to give examples. It is very, very essential. Something goes for your second sub-point. Each time you give a point, you must attach it to a story. There must be a story connected with that sub-point to make your point. After all, we tell stories to make points. Tell a story and make a particular point. That's the slogan. You have to, because if you don't do that, your audiences would find it difficult to follow the sequence of events. People always think in pictures. That is, your capacity to design a story, to tell a story with vivid images, descriptions, would help your audience to understand exactly what you're saying. Good storytellers are people who paint pictures with words. A will talk about that later, not today. But if you understand how to tell stories, you would always become a very powerful speaker. But great speakers are great or good storytellers. You can give examples, but if you tell a story that has connections with what you're saying, it is 1,000,000 times better. So, what I'm trying to say in essence is the body of your speech must be presented with examples and stories. Each time you give them a point, make sure there's a link to a story, or it is linked to a story that you've witnessed, that somebody told you about, something that has connection with what you have just said. People always make connections with stories, especially if the same story rings a bell with the audience. Great speakers are people who entertain, and they entertain you with everything, either by story, humor, examples, anecdotes, things that has connections with you, the listener. That's all about it today. I would come back to you next time with another series in our public speaking lecture. And until next time, my friends, the best you could do is to go to my website www.agohalonje.com. You will get more details on the essence of public speaking. If you want us to train you, we'll come to your office place and do that face to face. If you want our online training programs, it is also possible. We do training programs by Skype. I will catch you next time. Thank you very much.